We are currently heading south to the Dominican Republic, and today we'll be making our way out of Georgetown. I wish we had more time in the southern Bahamas this season, but it does make it even more exciting for any time we spend here in the future because there is still so much to explore. Last episode, in preparation for this trip to the Dominican Republic, we ran to shore, threw out some trash, grabbed some groceries, and then mounted our dinghy engine to the side of our boat. This is to take some of the weight off the back and to protect it if anything were to happen to the dinghy or the davits during the trip. We had a great time in Georgetown, but are ready to continue our way south.
Camera.
Action. It's official, we're taking off from Georgetown, heading to the Dominican Republic.
We're gonna try to go 2 days at least, but if the weather holds, we might go further.
So our plan right now, our goal today, well, it's gonna take 2 days to get to Mayaguana. If it's going well, if it's going faster, we might just keep going to Turks and Caicos. But the goal is to get to Mayaguana.
Yeah, if we can get to Mayaguana, I'll be happy. If we have to bail out early, there are options and islands and stuff that we can do to do that. But hopefully the conditions are just good.
We'll see how we're holding up after 2 days too.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not feeling too nervous about this trip. It really shouldn't be too crazy. I'm not really worried about getting seasick. I feel like I've been seasick enough now that I just am less scared of it. I know that I'll survive being seasick. So, but also like I haven't gotten seasick in a while. At least not actually seasick. I've gotten queasy. I think that helps a lot too because my anxiety is just lower. Maybe my anxiety is lower because I'm not so scared of getting seasick. I have a little bit of anxiety around our rolling furler.
If you remember on the last episode, our rolling furler for the head sail started losing a bunch of grease all of a sudden. We think the oil seal that keeps the grease inside must have failed.
The oil has been leaking out of it and we think the bearing needs to be replaced, which we will do once we get to somewhere we can do that. But we're just like, okay, we just have a couple more sails if we could just make it work.
Excited to get out there. Excited to begin kind of a long journey. But now everything is pretty squared away.
Any anxieties?
A little bit. You know, Mayaguana has fuel that we can get to. We did buy more fuel so we can go the distance. Hopefully we can do some sailing.
There's not a lot of wind, but it should be pretty calm out there.
Well, there should be some wind a little later, just not this morning.
So we got our new dinghy engine up on the side. Patrick also brought some of our jerry cans back here to help distribute the weight a bit better. The front of our boat had a bit too much weight, so it was like tilting. So we're bringing some fuel back here to help with that. Goodbye, Georgetown.
We also tied down our old non-working dinghy engine to the back deck, and yes, that is a kitchen bowl helping hold it in place. We need a new mainsail, and it's something we're hoping to get soon. We also need to clean this track because the sail keeps getting caught when we go to raise it.
Stop.
Yeah, what do I do?
Just come down here with Bob.
Okay. Is that it? Been going pretty slow so far, but we just got our head sail out. Mainsail's up. How you feeling, my lover?
Oh, okay. I wonder if we should pull this one thing back really quick. Chill. Okay, so like usual, the wind is coming directly where we need it to go, but that's only for this first like 20 or so miles. But we're just kind of motor sailing like 35 degrees off the wind. We're at like 1900, 2000 RPM, which, you know, we could have run it higher, but then we just burned more fuel. I mean, we're only going like 2.5 knots when we were doing that. Like motor sailing 35 degrees off the wind, we're going like 4.2 knots. So based off like the rough math, I feel like this should be a little faster, and also less just going straight into the waves, although there's not really any waves. It's like pretty calm out here. But you know, we're kind of on a long journey here, trying to save as much fuel as we can so that we maybe only have to stop once, if at all. Once we turn the corner, it might be a little better, honestly.
You can't sail directly into the wind, and unfortunately for us, the wind is coming from exactly where we want to go. To get around this, we have to do a lot of tacking, which means we are catching the wind at enough of an angle to get some speed and then switching to the other side to remain somewhat on our course. This is slower and can feel like you're not really getting anywhere, but it's really the only option we have for making up some ground.
Okay, still just motoring along, but I had a thought that I'm just hot, so I was like, I can't wait for the sun to go down, and that made me think about when we first started sailing and we wouldn't even do anything unless the sun was up. It was like, leave first sunlight and we had to get there before sunset to anchor because we were just so scared of being out after sunset. But now look at us. 2-day trip, 2 nights. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Hot?
You know, it's not as hot as like when we were going up the East Coast.
That's
like
true.
when I was fixing the drive leg in May and it was 95 degrees.
Still getting hot though.
I fixed the drive leg in May and it was 95 degrees, and then I fixed the drive leg in February and it was 28 degrees. You know, that's the swings of things. I'm hoping once we turn the corner, wind's supposed to pick up just a touch tonight to like 12 knots, maybe 14 knots. It'd be nice to just sail for a bit. We've
seen a couple other boats around, not currently, but earlier in the day, so that's kind of comforting too. It's been a full day and we're finally getting around Long Island. Not the Long Island you're thinking of. Different Long Island.
In the corner of the crowded room, your eyes meet mine. Conversations fill the air.
I feel like the more time I spend in the sun, the more my eyebrows disappear.
I don't ask for your name. It's already carved in the air.
Last night definitely got a bit rollier. It wasn't as easy as the daytime was. My anxiety got a little bad too, so I had a little bit of a hard time sleeping, but not so bad. We both stayed outside in the cockpit just because it's way too hot to be inside with the hatches closed. So we've just been kind of living in the cockpit and only going inside to get food or go to the bathroom. Anyways, I just woke up, went to the bathroom, and an entire gallon of bleach spilled all over the bathroom floor, fell out of a cabinet, and spilled everywhere. Our boat now smells like a chlorine pool. It's all like in the, I don't know what it's called, like where you can like shower in there and then there's a button to like pump that water out. It all fell in there and I don't want to like pump it out into the ocean, so I think just after our sail I'm gonna soak it out. It's a little too bouncy to take you in there and film around right now, so I'll just have to show you after our sail, but what a headache. It smells so strong of bleach right now. Entire bottle. Shout out to our friend Navidad for this tip. Did you know you could turn on this motion sickness mode on your iPhone or iPad? It's under settings, accessibility, motion, and then toggle on slow vehicle motion cues. I am not kidding, this helped us so much. I think it's super useful for checking charts or weather if that's something you do on your phone or tablet. And I get seasick really easily, but I was able to watch movies underway, which I've never been able to do before. Usually I just listen to music or audiobooks. Patrick doesn't get sick quite as easily as I do, but he said it made a huge difference for him too.
I think it's a little afternoon on day 2. We're finally making some good east progress. I think this afternoon I'll probably turn the engine off for a second, just fill up the diesel tanks again. I knew this journey was going to be kind of like long, and at least the sea state is fine. It feels so much better even just going slow, not just bashing into the waves. Of course, I would have loved just some good northerly or southerly wind to be just zipping across here, but that's just not what the trade winds do here. So you kind of gotta just like take what you get. Catching up on videos, listening to some audiobooks, and I'm not going to show Michaela because she's mostly nude. And I don't have pants on, but I look very proper with just a top on. It's a hot one out there.
If you're wondering what channels we've been watching lately, we've been keeping up with our friends. We've also been watching the Sailing Brothers, which may be a little egotistical because they literally bought the same boat as us. They're also really fun and entertaining and have a lot more sailing knowledge than us if you want to go check them out.
Falling into the unknown. Or do
We brought some extra fuel into the back to help balance our weight a bit because we noticed we have too much weight in the front of the boat and it was tilting a little forward. This also makes it easier and safer to grab fuel and refill instead of having to go all the way to the front of the boat and get them out of the lockers underway. We refilled our diesel tank once a day on this trip. Our fuel system doesn't seem too happy when the tank gets below half full. It ends up getting air in it, which means we lose RPM and have to turn off the engine to bleed the fuel line. This didn't used to be an issue, and we've tried replacing the line, clamps, fuel filter, we added in some copper washers. It was working fine for a little while, but the problem seems to have come back, and we noticed it happens sooner if we run the engine at a higher RPM or if the tank gets below half full.
Ignoring my crazy hair, I just woke up from a nap. We are going 5 knots. We went 5 knots for like a little bit last night, but we're going 5 knots in the right direction. So end of day 2 is looking up right now. Hopefully we'll be there sometime tomorrow. Honestly, I've just been watching movies and being too hot, but it's cooling down. We're getting ready to go back into night mode, hopefully last night. But I'm really, really excited to get to Mayaguana.
Honestly, I was not happy having to motor so much. I think it's because it gives me a lot of anxiety that something's going to go wrong with our engine or drive leg, but so much of this trip was fighting into the wind, so we needed to use our motor. I am super grateful for how calm the sea state was. It could have been way more uncomfortable.
Coming into night 2 now. We have like one more tack around the Crooked Islands, and then I think we'll be pretty much on the same tack around Plana Keys and then to Mayaguana. Finally picked up some speed though, going like 5.5. Saw 6 knots for a second there. Making some good progress. And the sea state's still pretty fine. We did have to come off of it just a touch because I just don't like when we blast into the waves, even when they're small. Still just not that fun of a time. If we're gonna motor sail, we might as well motor sail comfortably and quickly. We should arrive there sometime before noon, maybe at noon. I'm looking forward to some rest, honestly. We know a couple folks that are already there. We'll probably get some diesel if we can get in contact with the guy.
I look like such a disaster. This is the start of day 3, getting to Mayaguana from Georgetown. Patrick just went inside to lay down, so it's my watch. It's like 6:37 in the morning. We're not making the most progress because we just like can't go east because the wind is coming from the east, so we just have to keep zigzagging. Honestly, I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. At least sometime today. I guess we'll see.
We have mentioned the Thorny path before, which is actually called the Thorny path to windward, which is the route sailors take when heading east, from places like the Bahamas or even Puerto Rico towards the eastern Caribbean islands like St. Martin, Guadalupe, or Grenada. And it's called Thorny for a reason. The entire region is dominated by easterly trade winds, blowing steadily from the east at 15 to 25 knots and sometimes more. So when you're trying to sail east, you're often going straight into those winds and the waves they build. It's uncomfortable, slow, and punishing. Most cruisers will do it earlier in the year, waiting for cold fronts or weather windows that break up the easterly winds and allow for good progress east. But because of our repair delays, we are doing this in May, when the trade winds really start to fill out. We knew this was not going to be a fun journey, but still we had to take it if we wanted to get to the Dominican Republic for hurricane season. Man, my hair is nutty. It's been a frustrating morning. We're on kind of like morning 3 of this sail. No, it's not even morning anymore. It's afternoon. I was really hoping we'd be there by now. We've been trying to just like motor sail off the wind. I feel like every time we like rounded an island where we were like, okay, now we'll finally be able to have the wind at like 60 degrees, 70 degrees, we'll be moving again. The wind just shifted. So then it was at like 20, 30 degrees. And all of a sudden we were just like tacking off the wind again. I'd say we kind of admitted defeat at this point, and now we're just kind of like motoring low-ish RPM, like 2100, straight where we need to go. But the sea state is calm enough that we're not like bashing into the waves. We're actually kind of moving right around 4 knots. And that means we'll get there before dark, which I think is kind of important to like navigate the coral heads and stuff. It's a pretty shallow anchorage and I think pretty well marked. I mean, I know it's like the Thorny path or Thorny patch or whatever, but it's frustrating. I think we'll probably have burned through like 30 of our 75 gallons of fuel once we wrap this up. So it makes it a little tight to get to loop around. We're trying to schedule a fuel pickup in Abrams Bay in Mayaguana. But we'll see if that comes through. Otherwise, you know, we might just get to loop around with not a ton of fuel in the tank, but we'll be okay. I think the bigger issue is our engine doesn't love to run if our tank's not like at least half full.
We didn't make it by noon, but thankfully we were able to arrive and drop anchor right before sunset. Got anchored right before sunset. Honestly, that might be the happiest I've ever been to anchor. We have less than 24 hours before we are taking off again.
I think it's just like the way that it is going to work out. It's like our best weather window to have good wind but small waves starts tomorrow, which means we leave tomorrow night.
I can't even think about it right now. I
know.
turn my brain off for a second.
I'm so tired, but it's only 200 miles.
Yeah, but the last 200 miles took us 3 days.
Yeah.
Not quite. Not actually.
No, it was 2.5 days.
Yeah.
It was a lot of upwind sailing though. It wasn't super uncomfortable most of it. I felt like we did a good job managing the waves, but...
No, it wasn't too uncomfortable. It sucked not being able to actually just sail and having to use our engine the whole time.
Yeah.
That was the hardest part.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like just motoring the whole time.
It makes me anxious.
Yeah.
It makes me like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I like to sail.
But it does feel good that like our engine just ran for 50 hours without incident.
I'm going to show you how much everything fell down in the bathroom. So like everything, every time I came in here, I had to pick up stuff that fell on the floor and put it up here or up here. And this whole container of bleach spilled on the floor. I went down there, which we already soaked up. Oh, you can't even see it. Our whole boat smelled like a pool that whole trip. I'm gonna describe this to you before we even clean our bathroom, because this is what it's like underway. Normally, when you come, so you have to duck, right? It's a boat bathroom. That's normal. So normally when you go to the bathroom, like on anchor or something, I just kind of like duck, pull pants down at the same time, and then sit. But underway, you're getting thrown so hard.
Especially
around
upwind.
Yeah.
Where you're just getting bounced.
You're just being bounced constantly. So like you're trying to squat and take your pants down.
Your face is like
And you're just
slamming
like,
into the wall.
It's horrible, and you can't catch yourself because, well, I don't know about you guys, but I use 2 hands to take my pants down. So they're preoccupied.
Yeah. Put your pants on 2 legs at a time like every normal person.
Going to the bathroom on anchor, easy, right? Underway, I feel like now I have to act like a toddler where I am in front of the sink, take my pants down, and then go sit down because there's just no way to do it any other way. I just thought I'd share that reality of boat life with you.
The floor is all...
Yeah, I already showed how messy it is. Like, all of this belongs in cabinets. It just, every time I came up in here, I was just
we gotta put
stacking
locks
stuff.
back on the doors. You
Yeah.
can see where they used to be.
When you're going to the bathroom underway and it's really bouncy, you literally have to grab
You're
the
like-
wall
You're like bracing
like this,
yourself.
because otherwise you'd just be like shoved into it.
I put
super
one
hard.
hand on that wall and one hand on the door because otherwise that door just keeps opening.
Oh my god, it drives me crazy.
Uh-huh.
It's just, this door will slam open, this one will slam open. You're like trying to go to the bathroom and you're like slamming doors shut.
Yeah. It's kind of nutty.
Thankfully, we knew some people that were already anchored in Mayaguana, and they were super kind and took Patrick into town to get fuel. This way, we didn't have to get our dinghy engine back down for the short time that we were here. Knowing that this was the last time being anchored in the Bahamas for the season, I decided to go for a little swim off the back of our boat. This is something that's become a part of my morning routine since we've been here, and I'm really, really going to miss this water. Don't forget to subscribe. Next time we will continue our journey south towards the Dominican Republic.